Welcome back to the StudPokerReport.com video series. In the first video, you learn some basic rules, sequences, and betting that will happen in a typical 7-card stud hand. If you like the first video, this one will be even more valuable to you because you can become a profitable player at 7-card stud as soon as this video ends.
I never realized I could profit from it.
Nope, not kidding you, because hand selection, the subject of this video, is the most important skill you can have in 7-card stud. Without it, you might as well just kiss off your poker bankroll. Hand selection is critical in 7-card stud, even more so than other games, partly due to your not knowing what position you will be in from round to round. You need at least 2 cards that work together, and the strongest hands will be when all 3 of them have some kind of connection. However, simply having a good starting hand is oftentimes not enough, and you must be able to assess the likelihood of your hand improving while keeping it inexpensive in doing so. So let's discuss hand strength by groups and assign them a grade. The first group, A, is the easiest to play because trips, or a set, is the strongest starting hand in 7-card stud because everyone else at the table will have to catch up to you. So when you do get a rare hand like this, your main objective is to build the pot. And that could mean inviting more players in because your opponents will need at least a straight to beat your well-concealed monster. Even then, you can still improve to a full house yourself. These hands usually do win good pots, however, you should show some betting restraint when you have opponents with a window like this, or this, unless you have a full house yourself, which in that case you should just keep re-raising until the dealer tells you to calm down.
I have been a little abrupt with people.
Not maybe, yes or no?
No way, Are you from another planet?
Alright, here's Group B, which includes big pairs of jacks or higher, and all hands that include suited and connected Broadway cards. With big pairs, you want to be re-raising pre-flop to narrow the field. But with 3 high-suited connectors, just try and call your way to see a cheap card to 4th Street. And if it doesn't help, just drop it to any type of betting pressure. In fact, get used to dropping your potential hands on 4th Street if you don't get help that you need. This is a very good chemistry hand though, and it can outrank draws your opponents may be playing, and in turn earn some good-sized pots in the process. As for premium pairs, when we talk about them, it's usually better to start with a pair that is wired, like these jacks wired, where both matching ranked cards are in the hole and thus completely hidden from your unsuspecting opponents. If one of your paired cards are showing, then that's called jack split, like this hand is. Obviously, wired pairs have hidden strength that can fool your opponents. Look at the difference in strength showing when you improve to trips, and you can see why you're likely to get more action if you start with a wired pair over a split pair. Group C is like that mark you get in high school, meaning average. Average doesn't win much without improving, and that's how you have to think of this group. At the same time, these are the hands you will be playing the most because of the probabilities of getting them dealt to you. Group C consists of mid pairs of 8s through 10s. It's good to have a high kicker along too, but not critical, since the hand must improve anyway, and of course that goes for all the hands in Group C. Mid-suited connectors like 8, 9, 10 or 9, 10 jack. 3 suited Broadway cards for the nut straight and flush draw. High-suited semi-connectors like this King Jack 9. And finally, unsuited connectors. Wow, so as you can see, there is a lot of good selection of hands to play in this range.
Expect me to believe that you're truly making your recommendations on this basis?
The last group of hands are the weakest hands you should be playing, but they are playable, although you will definitely need more help with these hands. This group includes low pairs 2s through 7s, as well as those jumbled low to mid connectors, and also the non-connecting hands that just happen to be suited. Flushes can be strong hands in 7-card stud. Just remember to keep your entry costs low to see 4th Street. When playing any of these hands from these groups, there are other factors to consider. In fact, if you have a strong hand like this one from Group B, for example, you would probably have to fold to other players who might be betting and re-raising with hands like these. And just forget about calling 3rd Street 3-bets with Groups C and D. In fact, anything other than a premium pair or 3 of a kind, Your main objective is to see 4th Street for 1 bet or less at a full table. Now, during this series, we will be looking at hands from these groups in real scenarios extracted from hand histories, so you're going to get a feel for how to play these, but it does take a bit of time. Now, since that's a lot of information to take in on 7-card stud starting hands, you can use the link I've provided on this page to download a PDF postcard size starting hand guide, which you can use alongside your table at any time. Now, before you go out and play, let's cover a few basic strategies right now, and also some distinct 7-card stud rules you should know about. If you get a good hand, re-raise so that you are playing against only 1 or 2 opponents. Big pairs don't hold up well against big fields. If they do improve, it's usually only to 2 pair, so you need to make it costly for your opponents to be drawing to straights and flushes. Stick to big ranking draws when you have 2 or more opponents coming along for the ride. You want to be able to bring home bigger pots for when your draws actually do hit, and that means more opponents. The 4th Street intersection is where a lot of mistakes are made, so for the time being, only play them if you think you are ahead with a big hand, or if you have an excellent drawing hand. Always be watching your opponent's windows for better hands and draws. If you think they're good and they're betting like that, then it's probably just best to fold. 7-card stud also has a few different rules that apply to this game you should probably know about before you go out and play. One of them has to do with the bring-in. The issue at hand is if 2 or more players each have the same rank of low card on 3rd Street. And the question, of course, is who would be assigned the bring-in. The answer is that suits actually do have a rank, but only for this kind of purpose. Clubs is the lowest ranking suit, then hearts, then diamonds, then spades. If you just remember the suits alphabetically though, clubs, hearts, diamonds, spades, then you know that this 2 of clubs will be bringing in for this hand. The next rule allows for a double-sized bet by anyone at the table if any player is showing a pair in their window. You can use this handy little betting tactic on 4th Street to scare off drawing hands, or basically thin the field.
It's all about taking points away from the white.
Now remember in video 1 I said there are no community cards in 7-card stud? Normally that is correct, but the dealer can run out of cards in a family pot like this where nobody really wants to fold. This definitely does not happen in the higher limits, but you may run into it more than once at the nickel tables. So if on the river, if the dealer has less cards in the deck than the amount of players waiting for a river card, 1 card will be dealt face up, and all remaining players will use that card as their river card. In turn, that means that 5 of everyone's 7 cards are known to each other in such an odd hand. That's really open book poker. Well, when you get a few 7-card stud sessions under your belt, you'll be ready for video 3, where we are going to go over reading opponents' hands and compare what we think they have to what we have. With 7-card stud, there is a lot more information on the table, and it's really important to decipher it as best you can. It's also one of the most fascinating aspects of the game, so watch your email for video 3, and we'll see you back here then. In the meantime, bring your nickels and not much more to a 7-card stud poker table online.
I'll give you $1 billion Stanley Nickels if you never talk to me again.
And get yourself familiar with the first game of poker.
Michael, I didn't think I'd ever say this, but I'm glad you're back.
Thank you, Stanley. The Manley. I have no idea how much that means to me.